The Talksport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the Talksport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.
AFC Bournemouth have announced a new sponsor, and I want to give my honest opinion on this because, firstly, it is a gambling sponsor again. So it has been announced that Bangladeshi company BJ88, yes, you have heard that right, BJ88 have taken over from Dafabet as the club's main sponsor. It'll be on the front of all the shirts, and therefore they're very, very prominent with the football club. Now, firstly, I have problems with gambling sponsors. Now, gambling does ruin so many lives across the country in all sorts of shape of life. It is an addiction. It's luckily something that I've never been addicted to. You know, it's something that, you know, I would never be addicted to, but I can understand that there is many people that do. And therefore, at a time when gambling, you know, is so frowned upon, you know, why we've headed down this route. Now, we could have had Las Vegas. Now, nobody knows if they were actually in the running for this. It is thought that it is almost double, you know, what any other sponsor would offer, and therefore the club have chosen the most profitable solution. The thing is despite that, you know, the club are trying to set a trend now to attract new fans across the globe. And there is a trend that fans don't want gambling sponsors anymore. To be honest, I remember, you know, alcohol sponsors, you know, going back to Carlsberg, and Everton had Chang, and there was numerous others. Of course, Newcastle had Newcastle Brown Ale. You know, all these clubs have had alcohol sponsors, and to be honest, I don't have as much of a problem with that as a gambling sponsor. Gambling, you know, and especially online gambling, has taken over, and this is a big problem because at the same time, you know, gambling online is so accessible. You know, how is it proved, you know, that youngsters aren't getting into gambling? You know, it would be very easy to set up an online account, or, you know, well, I hope nobody does this, but somebody else sets up an account on a youngster's behalf. And that's why there is no gambling sponsored kids shirts. But the kids will be watching their players run out to this, and seeing as this gambling sponsor, and it does end in 2 years' time. You know, the deal is only for 2 years, and the gambling sponsors will be outlawed by that point. You know, I personally think that a change needs to happen. But, you know, moving on to another one, you know, another part of this sponsorship deal, BJ88. I I wonder if anybody's thought, hold on a second, that is the most ridiculous name. You know, I'm not going to turn around and say things here because at the end of the day, everybody bloody knows what, you know, I'm pointing at here. But to have that on a club's football shirt is, you know, I'm going to be honest, you know, with the Dafabet shirts, I bought the Dafabet shirts because, you know, Dafabet doesn't have, you know, it's not something that could be turned into something else. Basically, Dafabet is, you know, a gambling sponsor. I don't agree with it. I'd rather somebody, you know, else who sponsors the shirts. That makes, you know, and I hope everybody understands that. But with this sponsor and with that name, it's just like, I've already seen some of the comments on social media, and it's gone a little bit crazy, to be perfectly honest. I can understand the club trying to maximize the revenue, and that makes perfect sense. You know, any club would do that up and down the country. Any club will try and get the most profitable shirt sponsor that they can do. But there firstly has to be that moral side of things. At the end of the day, we've got these new special shirts designed by Michael B. Jordan, and I think those are really, really nice. And now they've grown on me. They're 85 quid, but there is no way, that I'm going to be paying £65 for a sponsored shirt with the letters BJ on the front of them. And I hope the club have realised that, and will order more of the unsponsored variety. It's a real shame. Because I would have been happy with the Las Vegas, and although Las Vegas, you could assign it to gambling, it's not actually gambling sponsor. Visit Las Vegas is talking about visiting Las Vegas. Now, what you get up to in Las Vegas is completely different thing. You might choose to go to casinos and things like that. Again, I couldn't stand that side of it. I would probably go to see the Vegas Golden Knights. I'd probably go when the F1's on as well, because I do like the F1. That would be a lucrative, attractive sponsor to me. Dafabet, I would have been against them extending it for 2 years. Okay, it is a gambling sponsor. I wouldn't be particularly over the moon, but at the end of the day, it's better than this, to be honest. Which, there's already comments, and I really do hope that there is unsponsored versions. Gambling, like I say, affects so many people's lives. It is a big market. I think, once gambling is stopped in football, and you've got to also, and this doesn't happen just in the Premier League, this has to happen across the whole of football. Talking about, what is the championship called? The Sky Bet Championship, Sky Bet League 1, Sky Bet League 2. That needs to change as well. It doesn't matter if they're linked to Sky Sports. They could be called the Sky Sports Championship. That's fine, but it's the bet bit which is the problem. And this sponsor, I'm just very, very disappointed about it, because even though, it is lucrative, and, I would have hoped that there would be somebody going, this probably isn't going to go down too well. Down too well with our fan base. So what I really do hope is that there's a lot of unsponsored shirts. Tell me what you think. Do you do you care? That is the thing. Do you care? With regards to the BJ 88 logo, or is it something that really has disappointed you yourself? Like I say, the club makes a lot of money through the Premier League. It'd be interesting to see how much this deal is worth, whether or not it makes financial sense. But I think there's going to be a lot of fans asking for unsponsored shirts this year. And that is, that's just my honest opinion. And that's what I give on this show. I know the title again is a bit of clickbait, but that is my honest opinion. Let me know what you think, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. Click the like, the subscribe, and the bell button below, and we'll see you in the next video.
The Talksport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the Talksport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.